Hey,
Hello.
here I am.
Hey, there you are. How are you doing?
I'm good. Coming to you from 79th Street, Madison Avenue.
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh, it's okay. It's We're open 11 to 6 today, and I just the artist was here for a while, so I was chatting
Oh,
with him, and
nice.
there are people coming in, but no, I don't think any big spenders.
Right.
So
Yeah.
uh, it's just a kind of a
How have
I'm
you been doing?
I've been okay. A bit tired from traveling.
Yeah.
The wedding was very nice, but I did my Washington stint the week before, leading up
Yes.
to that. So then I went back to Washington last Tuesday for not connected with that, but to do with work. So it's okay. I
Okay,
mean,
but okay, you've been so DC
it,
to Duluth to DC to
yeah,
right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So how about you? When's the gala? Is it next
It's
week?
no, it's tonight.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm speaking in it. We have a little panel presentation, so I'll be
Oh,
part of it.
great.
Yeah. Um, no, I know it's just in a few hours. I'm looking forward to it. No, I am looking forward to it. We're excited. I mean, it's been like you said, it's sold out. It's gonna be a success.
What's the panel that you're on?
We're just talking about childcare, affordability, access. What it means to families, what it means to the childcare providers,
Yeah.
and then I have a colleague who talks just about the advocacy piece, how we're fighting, talking to legislators to make sure that childcare is affordable for families, but also that childcare providers are paid a full living wage. So, you know,
Well, yeah, that goes kind of hand in hand. So yeah,
and yeah, no, and just talking about the importance of childcare to the economy overall, and yeah, no, all that good stuff. But yeah,
good.
yeah. So what's going on? So what? Yeah,
Well, are we a month away from the election? I don't
we're
know.
1 month away. I know. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
suddenly on us. You watched the vice presidential debate.
I did. What did you think?
Well, I don't think it's moving any needles.
Yeah,
I don't. I mean, some people Vance may have fooled some people. I
right,
don't know. I mean,
right.
he's obviously a chameleon.
Yeah. I mean, no, but I guess yeah, no. What did you think, and what are you hearing? Because I mean, I watched it in real time. I kind of, I thought, okay, Walz is off to a little bit of a shaky start. He definitely seems nervous. Vance seems very polished, but everything he's saying is empty. That's very apparent to me, but I'm not sure what I've heard since then is that, I mean, it was empty and also, I mean, just very obfuscating. He didn't really answer things in specific, yeah, and or he said things that were just obvious. I mean, what they're saying on reproductive rights is just completely 180 from what they're actually doing, and it's I don't know who is that.
Yeah,
Is that fooling someone or is that I don't know.
I don't know, but I think there's definitely uh, a Republican plot to try to soften the impact of their real abortion policy.
Yeah,
And I think Melania's book is part of that.
I mean, yeah, I
I'm
know.
sorry, I'm completely
No, no, okay,
cynical.
no. Well, no, you know me, and you know how I feel about conspiracy theories. Or what? Here's what I can't. Here's what we can prove. It was vetted. That they knew this book was coming out during an election. Someone from that campaign had to have had some. This wasn't. This was vetted. So whether they wanted this messaging, whatever his response. I mean the whole thing where he's like, well, she should have a right to say what she wants, but every other woman in America should. I mean, it both doesn't serve their message and it does. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it's fundamentally they knew this and it's part of their whatever they're doing.
Yeah,
And
I mean, she's making. He's a family man.
yes, yes,
She's taking over everything else.
yep,
I mean, this is like a flip side of Alito saying, "I don't know what my wife is doing." Like
yeah,
she's
no,
saying, "Oh, I don't know what Donald Trump's doing, but you know.
Right, but no, but I mean, and again, I mean, RFK's wife, who is an actress named Cheryl Hines, quite famous, she's not suffered a lot of. I mean, but people, she can be married to who she wants, but she says her reasoning is when he says something that she doesn't like, she just says, "I disagree with you," and I'm like, okay, but that's. But what he says is damaging. It causes real harm. What Donald Trump says, people were injured and killed on January 6th. You can't just say, I disagree with them, but then also and get plausible deniability from what they are. It's complicity. It is complicity at the end of the day, and so.
Of course it is. Yes, of course it is. I mean,
and the whole thing with her jacket at the border. She's a Trump. If there was any question in 2016, would she soften him or ever? She'll do it for the image. I'm assuming her getting a book out of the deal was the deal. She gets a book, and in exchange, she says he's a family man with a fairly straight face. I have to give her credit. With a fairly straight face. So.
You think prenup had a clause about not ever maligning him? In other words, if she was to come out and say, "Well, I strongly disagree with him about this, that, and the other," she's reducing her.
I don't think
as a wife.
I genuinely don't think it's about that. I think it's both. I mean, again, she's saying he's a family man, but she doesn't even live with him. She lives in New York with Barron, and they don't even. But I think it's more complex than that. When I say she's a Trump, I really think that. I don't think.
Does she want to spend 4 years in the White House?
No. I don't think she wants that. I'm not even sure he does it at the end of the day, though. I mean, I'm sure he will be. I'm sure he will be just as happy to do stuff. He can do his rallies. It's hard. He can do his rallies and sell his. I'm sorry now. Sneakers and NFTs and coins and Bibles. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the latest one. And this is not even him. Have you heard out of Oklahoma now, Ryan Walters, who is the education, and so far he's done things like put Women from Moms for Liberty on the school board. So this is my area. This is children's education. And this guy, so they now they're requiring Bibles in schools, which... separation of church and what? Like now they're requiring Bibles in schools. And specifically he's put a clause in, or the bid that they've put out, requires that the Bibles have a copy of important American documents, examples including the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, which Bible for $60 each happens to be pretty much the only Bible in the world because people don't do that. Put the Bible and the Constitution in the same document, the Trump Bible. So this $300,000 bid for school Bibles looks like it's going to go to Trump Bibles.
And these Bibles have the Constitution printed in them?
Yes.
They're not inserts or they're not other books that go with them. They're actually printed.
It's one volume. And it's actually, and what's interesting is, they made it very specific. It has to be in one volume, it has to be a hardcover, it has to be leather or leather-like. Literally, they made it so that it could really only be this one book. And it's very... They're giving it away and they're doing it out in the open. They're not hiding these things. These aren't things that will come out after the election. This is what they're doing leading up to election. Alabama had to be stopped from election interference because everything that they've been doing, they were doing it. They could do it up until 90 days, but now they can't remove people from rolls or all the things they've been doing.
Right.
I don't understand why you can do it 90 days before. I feel like it should be at least 6 months. It should be at least. It should be at least before early voting has started, which it has.
It should. Yeah.
It's but there.
So every country could do this, right? Like the British could have the Magna Carta, copy of the Magna Carta in the Bible, right?
Sure. Yes.
Or Russia could have.
Yes. They can put. Yes. Yeah.
They have their.
No, and Yeah, I mean, and you could get more cynical than that. What kinds of
Well,
you can pack? The Bible is not copyrighted, so you can package it with anything you want, and that's it's. But
yeah,
that
but let's face it, the Bible was written exclusively for white Christian Americans, right? I mean, that was decided 2,000, I don't know, 5,000 years ago. Somebody was prescient enough to know that there would one day be a country called America with a lot of white folk in it, a diminishing number of white folk,
well,
who
yeah,
desperately needed this document.
yeah.
I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
I
No, the Magna Carta. No. I could go in a lot of different directions. What else? I mean, what? What else?
Okay. Puff Daddy in jail with who is he in jail with?
Oh, the Sam Bankman-Fried, the tech guy,
The guy who had to only eat peanut butter, or they only had peanut butter.
But no, okay. I mean, I think, okay, a few things. One, a lot of just sort of false accusations. Anyone who's ever, I mean, again, he was a huge, important figure in the music industry. Anyone who's ever taken a picture with him is having it brought up and rebroadcast, and I don't think that's necessarily fair to anyone who's ever met him. I think anyone who's ever made a statement about a party probably should be a little bit nervous, especially if it was a lot of what, and again, Ashton Kutcher has done this several times, including with Puff Daddy, which is, oh yeah, I shouldn't talk about what I saw, ha ha ha. But now it's like, well, what did you see? Because now it's actionable in a court of law. There are victims. It's not just ha ha ha. But that's kind of, I mean, this is the fodder for nighttime television in general. I mean, this is, people are still talking about parties last weekend this same way, but what will come back to haunt them in the future. And I think it's also important to, again, not just anyone who's ever pictured with him, anyone who's ever gone to a party, that's not the same as the people who stayed until 2 a.m. after when the doors were closed and the trays of whatever were wheeled. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
No, I know exactly what you're saying, because, for instance, if you look at today's myth of Studio 54, it has to do with out of bounds behavior and a lot of cocaine and everything. So, okay, I don't think your mother. I don't think your mother or I ever went downstairs.
Right.
Nobody ever invited us downstairs, and I don't really know what went on downstairs. But whatever went on that was either illegal or outrageous went on downstairs. And vast majority of the people who went there went to a relatively conventional discotheque, right?
Yes.
With music and bars and boys in shorts, but it wasn't. I actually never saw anybody snorting cocaine.
Right.
It's year 54, and I went there quite a lot. But there was, there was definitely something else going on, either at the same time or later.
Right. No. Right. And okay. And what? Okay. What was your sense of that at the time, and what is your feeling? That's not my business. That's not my interest.
My sense is that I learned a lot more about it afterwards.
Yes.
No, seriously.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
But it's difficult for me now, this far away, to think of I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're not aware that we were going to a den of iniquity or that there was a hellfire club downstairs.
Right. I believe
also because basically, downstairs was also, although there was no sign, it was understood that downstairs was gay. Yeah. So that wasn't anything. We weren't there. That wasn't us. So.
Yeah. Okay. Right. No. Well. No. Yeah. No. That's
I
interesting.
don't know if girls didn't go down there. Maybe they did. I don't know. But
Yeah. Right. No. Right. Was there? Were okay. Okay. I mean, I feel. Yeah. No. As far as I can recall, I went to Studio 54 one time as it was an all ages daytime. There
there was a party there.
Yeah.
No, what? There was another nightclub, and the owner's wife was a model, and they had a children's party during the day
Yes.
in the discotheque.
Yes.
It wasn't Studio 54,
Oh. Okay.
but I remember the name. It was a big, well-known.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what you might be remembering.
I think so. No. Okay. Yeah. But no. I think. Again, but also no, but also
Is he getting a rough deal? Do we think because of he's a celebrity? Is he a?
no, but I don't think he's I don't think he's I think he's getting the treatment commensurate with the accusations. I mean, he's not in solitary confinement. He's in it's like dormitory style. That's, I'm sure, coming from mansions. That's quite a transition for him. But I think he's. I don't know.
But I see what I question actually is that if he had been given $50 million bail.
Mm-hmm.
Would he, in fact, have fled the country and ended up living the rest of his life in Abu Dhabi or Buenos Aires or something?
No, I doubt it. I mean, I think he's no.
Yeah.
No, I think he has a lot of money. I think he's counting on having very good counsel. I think we've seen people like Bill Cosby and Harvey Weinstein both be held accountable, but also evade a lot of charges. Just went through.
Well, OJ got off. I mean,
yeah, I mean, so I think I think that's what he's counting on. I think. No, I mean, again, I don't know. I do believe in presumption of innocence, but I don't know I don't know enough of the details around him. But again, what does this say about the industry? What does this say about anyone who did enable this and allow this? And yeah.
Well, yeah, that's probably something that hasn't changed much in Hollywood. I don't know.
Right. No, I'm right. But I really, honestly, I think the people who should be held accountable aren't going to be others. Well, I'm not saying no, aren't going to be other celebrities, but they're going to be people and names that we don't know at all, but behind the scenes people who really, who knew something and who just allowed it to happen.
Well, I'm sure he had a huge staff who were complicit and they were well paid. Or, I mean...
Okay, speaking of which...
He didn't do this on his own.
No, yeah, okay, speaking of which, Eric Adams, what's any updates? I know you've been away for a minute, but anything...
No, I would say that the net is closing in. What he's losing now, he had always, much more than de Blasio, the support of the business leaders in New York,
right?
The various, like, non-profit but very, very big organizations of real estate people, and they are beginning to now be silent. In other words, they are, at the very least, they're being silent. They're not supporting him, and there, in fact, there were a couple of them have had meetings with the guy who will be the interim mayor if Adams resigns. The guy who becomes mayor is currently the public advocate, and
do you know their name?
I don't know his name. I don't know his name.
And what's are they sort of removed from all of this, or are they part of it too? It seems like everyone.
He seems to be removed.
Okay.
public advocate is he? What I don't think he's a crony. He's
Right.
not a
No. Right.
because the his deputy mayor has just resigned, and she got
Right.
married to another guy who just resigned. I mean, it's a house of cards that appears to be collapsing,
Yeah.
and there is the last news I read was that there are new indictments going to be opened beyond what he's already been accused.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So frankly, it doesn't look good. And there was a big article calling him out for comparing himself to Dinkins.
Huh.
But Dinkins was a one-term mayor.
Yes.
But Dinkins was almost the opposite of Adams, as this article pointed out.
Yeah.
He was not bombastic. He was conservative.
Yes.
He was quiet.
Yes.
He worked hard. Blah 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 blah. So it's not and he wasn't corrupt.
Right.
I mean,
no.
Koch
And
had more problems with corruption in his administration than Dinkins did.
right. No. And Dinkins and I was the last mayor I lived in. I didn't live in New York City during any of Giuliani or Bloomberg, but I would visit regularly enough that I could see sort of the changes. But Dinkins, I think he was one term because he was perceived as ineffective, or was it? But he was just sort of a middle of the road. Did his job, but he wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't.
Giuliani was trying to bring him down. Giuliani was campaigned viciously against him.
Huh.
So that was not in his favor. He wasn't an aggressive fighting.
No, that's exactly what. No, that's what it is. It's that he was a one because he wasn't because he wasn't Eric Adams, because he wasn't bombastic, because he wasn't. But it wasn't because he was. Yeah. No. Yeah.
I once took a phone call at home from David Dinkins when he was running for mayor, trying to get hold of your mother to get her support.
Huh.
And I mean, he was just making these calls, right?
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting by that,
Yeah. No. Okay. Eric Adams. And then what do you think of these accusations? He's saying that this is political, which is really interesting because he technically is a Democrat, but in my mind, he's always been he's a former cop. He is a former registered Republican. He's not.
He's saying that because he complained to the Biden administration that we needed more money to handle the immigrants.
Right.
Right.
No, but he's peddling exactly the same. I mean, he's peddling that. Yeah, this is exactly what Trump is saying down in that they're withholding aid to Republican areas, which is, by the way, exactly what he did. He did it in Puerto Rico. He did it in California, where they literally had to show him voting records to prove to him, no, these are people who voted for you before he would approve aid. He did it in Florida, where DeSantis said, these are people who are strong voters for you. We want it. Normally the federal government covers 75% of aid. We want 100%. Right. Trump said, you're right. Those are Trump supporters. 100% aid approved, and approved it the next day. Trump absolutely does this, and now he
requires it. He requires it.
Yeah, well, no, right. Of course, fealty to him is, you have to kiss the ring. But then to then cynically turn it around. But then again, Adams is peddling exactly the same, honestly, conspiracy theories. There's no, it's.
So this was the funniest thing. There was a transcript of a conversation between Adams and the manager of Turkish Airlines in New York.
Yes.
The manager of Turkish Airlines in New York is the main key person here.
Okay, yes.
Because, he's very close to the Turkish government, and he was the one who was manipulating the flights and everything, and
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and when it was time for the Turks to ask for something, right? Because they'd been flying him around, right?
Yes.
And apparently, this was over the getting the Turkish consulate ready in time and getting the building permits,
Yes.
which were not actually due, having them signed off. And when there was some pushback by Adams,
Right.
the Turkish airline manager said, "Well, seat 52 is always open,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to go to the back of the? Would you like to be
Right. No. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, but the fact that he could say that to him, right,
Right. Right.
as a threat to the mayor of New York,
Yeah.
who wanted to travel business first class and stay at a $3,000 a night hotel for $200. I mean,
Right. Right.
It sounds petty, but I think given his it's old fashioned, it's old school
Right.
kind of
No. Yeah. No. I mean, he does. He thinks.
graft, isn't it? They used to call it, graft. And
Okay. No. Okay. We talked about. No. You had asked who should play him in the movie.
okay.
No, I'm saying no. I mean, for me, it should be James Gandolfini. It should be Al Pacino. It should be like that's. I mean, no, but
Joe Pesci.
exactly. Yeah, Joe Pesci would actually. Yeah. Speaking of, what do you? Okay, you're in Hudson Valley. You have a representative. I'm forgetting his name, Nick Loeffler or something, who did some blackface. That's resurfaced. Have you heard anything about this?
No, I haven't.
No. I mean, it's kind of a non-story. I believe him in the sense that he sounds credibly like he's a huge Michael Jackson fan. It seems like he just wanted to dress up like Michael Jackson and didn't know it was offensive. But I also think all the people that again, the community he travels in, some of the people knew it was offensive, and some people no, he could. This was 2006, so this is an old picture that was resurfaced. It's a non-story, but
we don't know who the people are in politics up there yet.
right,
I do know that there are some prominent Trump signs, but there are also prominent Harris Walz signs.
yes,
And when we were actually driving, because the wedding was in Duluth, but part of it was in Superior, which is in Wisconsin, which is like,
Yes.
half an hour away. I saw, first of all, it was like a big banner on somebody's lawn that said Harris Walz, and it looked completely handmade.
yes,
right?
yes,
But then I see more of them, and they were exactly the same.
huh?
So I saw more of those. Well, it's Minnesota, right? That
Yeah.
is-
Yes, yeah.
It's also very rural.
Right.
It's
No,
also-
sure. And what would you say were the proximity of, and this is true either for where you were visiting or where you are upstate, of the Trump signs to the Harris Wall signs? Because for me, it's very, like, I cross bridges and it's very distinct. Like, neighborhoods are either all or nothing. I don't see sort of this side of the street and that side of the street. It's very, like, you go from one place to another and they're all Harris signs or all Trump signs, depending on...
No, so far near us, near Goshen, because there's mostly farms and small towns, it's here and there, one or the other.
Okay.
It's not a...
Yeah.
No, there are a lot of retired firefighters and policemen up there. I assume, perhaps wrongly, they're Trump.
Right.
There have been some handmade Trump signs there for like 3 months, small ones that people have nailed to the tree.
Huh.
But then now you're seeing more of the, I guess, ones that they buy or you stick on the lawn.
Yeah.
I don't know. You actually, there is an app that has a political map of anywhere in the United States
Huh.
by red, blue, and purple.
Yes.
So before we were looking in that area,
Huh.
we ascertained that it wasn't red,
Right. No. Right. Right.
that it was blue purplish.
Yes. Yes.
So we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Back to Eric Adams. Do you know who Sabrina Carpenter is?
Is she a singer?
She's a musician. Yeah. She claimed somewhat jokingly at a Madison Square Garden show that she took down Eric Adams. So what is interesting is this goes back, I want to say a year, maybe 2 years ago. She shot a music video in a church in Brooklyn.
Okay. Yes.
The Monsignor who approved it then ended up getting into a whole thing with the archdiocese, but he happens to be friends with a guy who was formerly Eric Adams' chief of staff, but now is running his campaign, but basically someone very close to Eric Adams. And so she shot a video. It was racy. She's in a, whatever, of course, the church, once the video comes out, the church is up in arms. He gets disciplined. The church gets reconsecrated. They literally reconsecrated.
Really?
Yes. But this internal investigation in the church somehow may have triggered what started. I mean, somehow all of the investigations into Adams, and the church isn't actually denying that. They're saying, yes, we have an ongoing investigation into this Monsignor who has these relationships with the city. I
love it. That's wonderful.
Right? Yeah. No, yeah.
So where is Madonna in all of this? Pissed off?
I'm sure she I'm sure she wishes she could. Yes. All right, and then also in your neck of the woods, they're giving rats birth control now. Have you heard this?
Are they condoms or what?
No, it's okay. Okay, this is all right. Do you remember the owl that escaped from Central Park, and then people were rooting for him for several? His name was Flacco, and then he was out for several weeks, and there were sightings, and then he died, and then it was found that he had rat poison in his system. So, this is true. It's some kind of chemical. It's rat contraceptive, so that they can reduce the use of rat poison, and they've now approved it. But of course, many people are noting rats in New York City now have better contraceptive access than many women across the United States of America,
absolutely.
which is.
I think it's very true. I think that's a very good talking point for Kamala. There's actually a TikTok reel that goes on for about 5 minutes of a rat trying to jump up onto one of these kind of, they have these containers with bushes in them on the street, but obviously had some food in it.
Yes.
And it's about 2 feet high.
Yes.
And the rat it was like an Olympic high jump, was going back and back and back, running at it. And obviously there was a crowd of people because there was a cheering section.
Right. Right.
And he'd get there and then fall back and try again. So, rat games. You've heard of the Hunger Games.
Yeah, no. I mean, okay. Have you experienced that in the city? Is it?
I haven't seen a rat in a long time.
Okay, but growing up in the city.
I think the last rat I saw maybe in the subway before.
That's COVID. What I was going to say. That's what I always remember growing up. Occasionally in the subway. That's when I would see a rat, but I don't remember rats being part of my New York experience growing up.
No, they're not.
No. Yeah. Anything else?
Well, Chris Christopherson, sad. 88.
Yes. No, okay. Chris Christopherson and Maggie Smith. Dame Maggie Smith.
Yes, absolutely. They're probably about the same age.
Yes. Chris Christopherson was a very talented musician, a talented actor, and Maggie Smith. No, I know. It's
I did not put this in my book, but I could have. I can legitimately claim to have introduced him to Carly Simon,
Yes.
whom,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
with whom he had a fling,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because they were both booked at the Village Gate. Carly Simon as the warm up or the first, right?
Yes.
Now, they would have met anyway because they were both performing there, but my Texas buddies came from all the way from Fort Worth to support Chris's opening night.
Yes.
And they all knew him. So they had booked, and I went, they dragged me there.
Yes.
And of course, backstage, there she is. And I introduced them, or
Yeah.
let's see, they met.
Well,
They met and I was there.
right. Right. Yeah. 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 No. That. Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's okay, right? I mean, that's.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he did actually, one weekend when I was in Fort Worth staying with Jim Meeker, and you never knew, it was a big house. I was down for breakfast early or out for breakfast, and then he just wanders in from his bedroom, right?
Yeah.
Another bedroom, looking very tousled. And then 5 minutes later, Samantha Egger, who is quite well-known movie star at the
Yes.
time,
Yeah. Yeah.
behind him. And he says, that Jim, this is talking about our host.
Yes.
He's a really weird guy, isn't he? To me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, he was. I thought he could sing too, and I thought he wrote some really great songs.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
what's
I don't know if he was cut out to be an actor, but I mean, he did. I guess have a,
no? He did. Yeah. Well, no. I mean, he did. He did.
he did it.
Yeah. 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 So what does your week look like? What's ahead for you?
I got one day in the country tomorrow, and then pretty busy enough.
Okay.
Busy enough. That's
Yeah.
okay.
All right. Well.
Have a wonderful time tonight.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
I'll be thinking of you. Okay.
Yes. Thank you. I love you, and take care of yourself too, though. I mean,
will.
don't be too busy. Okay. I love
Okay.
you.
All right.
All right. Bye.